Hello, I'm Professor Toybox. I'm taking a short break from my Dark Forces series to catch up on viewer requests. Today's request comes from Jeremy Hensley on YouTube, who wants to know how to make a paintball game in which a player will respawn at a random location when they die, so that the other player can't predict where they'll appear. I thought this was a great idea, and the random respawn would be useful for a lot of different Toybox games. I could do this in one video, but it would be really long, so I've decided to break this up into multiple videos and do a short mini-series on player battles. I'll do the paintball challenge first, and then in the next video I'll do the random respawn capability. I'd also like to build a traditional deathmatch type challenge as well, which could make use of the random respawn. If we're going to be battling another player, we need an arena, so for this series I've built a small Incredibles themed toy box, and this will serve as our battle arena. And because I'm using the Incredibles for my theme, I've got Violet with me today. And before we start on the paintball game, I'll just take you on a quick tour of the new toy box. We're going to be focusing mainly today here in the park, and so I don't want to show you the entire toy box just yet. I'll do that in another video, but mainly it provides a nice arena, and the buildings around it provide a nice barrier, and I got lots of little finishing touches here with the traffic lights and a little bus stop over here. And if you look in the park, I'm using the Metroville grass there, and the trees are all the customizable plants out of the plants drawer, and they're customized to the park textures. The texture I'm standing on here for all the rest of the blocks are Dusty Crophopper's runway, and that kind of makes for a nice sidewalk. And the Toy Box Road is the theme I'm using for the racetrack pieces, and so that works out pretty well. The sky, of course, is the Metroville sky from the Incredibles. And I got some billboards and some different things set up around here. Just kind of add some visual interest and lots of little details. So quite happy with how this turned out. I think this will be a fun little battle arena for a number of player battles. So as we get started here on the paintball game, I think the quickest way to do this is to use the paintball battle game template that's down inside the templates drawer, and I'm going to drop this down underneath the terrain here, because really this just provides all the pieces we need. It doesn't need to sit up top. I'm actually going to relocate the pieces I need out of this, and so that generates all the pieces that we need for a full paintball game. And I'm actually going to modify this to make my own custom game, because I want to set up two teams that'll battle each other. I think that'll be fun and might be useful for some of you to see how to customize this. So, since we only have 2 players in the toy box now, we don't need everything, so we can delete the pieces we don't need. So the 2 podiums for 3rd and 4th place we don't need. And also, we've got 4 locators and 4 object generators here for 4 different paintball guns and 4 different respawn points for the players. And this one, I believe, if we come in here and look at the challenge maker, this is for player 3, so we don't need this one. And I believe this one is for player 4. Let me double check that. Yep, that's for player 4. So we can delete that one and the object generator that went with each of those. There's the challenge maker, and another reason it's kind of good, I could build this all myself, but the challenge maker saves time, or the template saves time. And when you look at the challenge maker properties, it has some text in here for the title and the description that I can't set anymore myself in my own challenge makers. So that's kind of useful. Another thing to note, there's 3 enemy wave generators here that are connected to this thing. And I only need 2 for my team's challenge, so I'm actually going to delete one of these. And then these locators over here were for the spawn points for the enemy wave generators, and so this one's not connected to anything anymore, so we can delete that one. That one is, that one is, that one's not, and I believe this will be the other one that's not. So there we go. So now I'm going to locate the pieces I need out of here, so we'll definitely need the challenge maker. So I'm going to pull this up, and we'll put this over here right near the starting point for the player. I've got that set up fairly close to the park, and we'll drop that right there. And for the player 1 starting position, I believe that's going to be this one over here. Let's double check that. Oh, that's player 2. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move that. So for player 2, I'd like them to start on this side of the park, and we're going to have them facing the other direction. And I'm going to kind of center it on those stairs as best I can and line it up about with the lights down there on the end. And I'll use the same marker on the other side for player 1's position. That way they're kind of equally spaced from each other. So this will be, oops, player 1's starting position then. So that's lined up with the other one. And again, we'll position this right about there. And we need the object generator for the paintball gun. It's nice that it puts all these pieces down here for you, but it's a little bit tricky selecting just the few that you want out of there. Okay, and we'll put that about a block width away, right in front of the player when the game starts, so they can grab their paintball gun and go. And we'll move this one up and put this on the other side of the park in front of player 2's starting position. There we go. Now we need the starting positions for the enemies. And so this one's connected to that one on the right over there. This one's connected to the one on the left. And we got right, left, right, left. So the first one, I'm going to go ahead and move this one on up. And we'll put this on player 1's side of the board. And I'm going to line this up about like so. Make sure I'm grabbing the correct one. It's the one on the left. And by default, it provides 3 locators. I would actually like to have a 4th, so I'm going to drop a 4th locator out here, and then we'll bring the 3rd one up and put it over on the other side. Oh, I'm a lot further behind that than I thought I was. There we go. And we'll put this one over here. There we go. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing for each of the locators for the other wave generator. And these will be the team members for the other team. And I need to spin that around so that it's facing the right direction. You want the little blue dot there that's on the one corner of that facing that way, because that indicates where the generated enemies will be facing. And again, I want a fourth locator, so we'll drop one out here. And then we'll go get that last one. Okay, so there's the locators. And just to make this easy to hook up, I'm going to go ahead and pull these enemy wave generators out of here temporarily. These are the ones that are connected over there for player 2. So I'm going to move this up over here where I can get access to it. That helps me remember which one is which as well as I'm editing this. And this is the one for player 1's teammates. So we'll put that right there. Okay, next thing we'll go ahead and do is connect this up to my new locator. So the one that isn't connected is this one right here. That's the new one I created. And for this one, it's the one down there on the end. Okay. And the enemy wave generators don't come with any enemies, so we need to come in here to configure the wave. And I'm going to go down here to the monsters U paintball monsters. So we've got 3 different guys for this. And for teams, by default, the challenge maker likes to assign blue for player 1, and this is the one that looks a little closest to the blue. So we'll go ahead and do him, and I'm going to set the count for him to 4. And for the properties, no generation delay, and the team will be blue. Okay. And player 2's team color typically is orange. And so for this wave, fortunately, there are some orange monsters. So we'll use those. And there's this one who has some purple and orange. We'll use this one to make it a little less confusing. And again, I'll set the count to 4. So each side is evenly matched, at least as far as monsters go. If I play this as one player, and let's see, no generation delay. If I play this as a single player, then my team will be outnumbering theirs by 1, namely me. Okay, so I think that's everything. Let me just double check the property for this. Both are set for random location. Okay, so we have our teammates, and they're assigned to teams. And now we have to assign ourselves to a team. So for that, we're going to need Creativitoy. Actually, 2 of them. We're going to need the blue team activator and the orange team activator. So we'll come over here and grab both of these, and for right now we'll just sit them out here on the street. And then we can come over to our challenge maker and a new logic connection on invites accepted. Come over to the blue team activator, and we're going to set player 1 to be the blue team. And then new logic connection on invites accepted. We'll do the same thing with the orange. We'll set player 2 to the orange team. And once the game is over, come over to each of these, and on the blue team, we're going to clear player 1 from teams. And the same thing for player 2, because they won't need to be on any team at that point. So we'll clear player 2 from the teams. So now player 1 will spawn here. He'll be on the blue team, as well as all of the enemies that will show up here. And player 2 will show up there and be on the orange team, along with all the enemies that show up there. They'll also be on the orange team. Now the next thing we need, right now, these wave generators are not going to really respawn any new enemies. And to get them to do that, we're going to need a couple of more creativitoys. So I'm going to need what I'd like to do is be able to take this wave generator, and when the wave is defeated, turn around and make the wave generate a new wave. There's two problems with that. Number one, I can't make a logic connection from a toy to itself. So for that, we have to have a logic gate. So I'll drop one down for each side. The second problem is if I just connect this to the logic gate and have this turn around and come back and generate the wave, that won't actually work, because apparently the wave generator needs a little bit of time to reset itself. And so I'm going to use a time delayer in order to do that. And by default, each of these time delayers are set to 1 second, and that should be sufficient. So on the wave generator, we'll do a new logic connection. When the wave is defeated, we'll come over here to the time delayer and start the delay. And on the time delayer, new logic connection, when the delay is completed, we'll input into the logic gate. And then the logic gate on output will come back over to the wave generator and generate the wave. And we'll do the exact same thing over here. So new logic connection, when that wave is defeated, come into the time delayer and start the delay. And when the delay is completed, come over to the logic gate, input into that. And on output from the logic gate, come back over and generate the wave. So we'll have fresh teammates coming in and fresh targets to shoot. And one last thing we need to modify is when the game is all over and the challenge maker comes into each of these enemy wave generators and defeats the wave, we don't want this mechanism to come in here and regenerate them again, which it will. So I'm going to come over here to the challenge maker, and on game ended, we want to come over to this logic gate and close it. And that way, when the wave is defeated and the time delayer is kicked off and it tries to come through here, the gate will be closed. And so it won't actually generate a wave once the game is over, which is good. And on game ended, we need to do the same thing for the other side. Close that gate. And if we decide we want to play this paintball game a second time, then we need to make sure that on invites accepted, we come over to each of these gates and reopen them. There we go. And with that, I think we're just about ready. let's see, we've got our team activators set up over there. We've got the wave generators set up to assign the enemies to teams, and when the enemies are all destroyed, go ahead and spawn new ones. So that'll keep the enemies going. And I've got an extra locator set up for each of these wave generators, so that's good. Yeah, I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So we'll come over here to our challenge maker. And I like how it says Paintball Battle Game, so that's good. And we'll go ahead and start the challenge. And by default, this will run for 2 minutes. We'll go ahead and grab our thing. You see the timer is going. The enemies over there have been generated. And now my guys have seen them. And now they've seen us. Oh. And there's one enemy left over there. And now we got some fresh enemies that have spawned in. So that's a good thing. Whoa. Boy, my guys aren't doing a whole lot. I see them shooting, but they don't seem to be doing much to that poor guy. He kind of fell down on his own, I think. Come on, guys. Oh, we got some fresh ones. Oh, that one's over top of each other. Oh, there he is. I'm shooting at my own guys. Unfortunately, the paint covers them up, so I can't tell who's who. Lots of free sparks. Yeah, it's kind of fun seeing the enemies fighting each other. I like that. 6 seconds to go.
That wasn't so bad.
And the challenge is over. Oh, I forgot to put the podiums up there. Okay. Go ahead and exit. And that left me on the podium. So, okay. Well, that's good. At least I didn't fall into the drink. Let's go ahead and pull the podiums up here. And we'll put those over here off to the side. There we go. So next time when the game is over, I'll be up here. And then I can just hop off of that. Well, that was a lot of fun. I like how that turned out. So now we've got our paintball game. Next time I'll show you how to add the random respawn capability so that when you die you'll reappear at a random location. Meanwhile, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel or sign up on my blog so you don't miss the next episode in this series. And if you want to build this in your own toy box, you'll find logic diagrams on my blog that'll help you customize the paintball template. For now, Violet and I are signing off, and I'll see you next time.